We have storytelling running through our blood. My mother told us tales of our ancestors as we grew up. They sounded a lot like the Baron von Munchausen's cycle, so fascinating and so far-fetched. At least that was my perception growing up in South Africa, a country worlds removed from these great tales. Yet somewhere there's a thread of truth. A letter from my great-aunt written in 1960 when she was 90 years old reflects some of the same stories my mother told me. A family from Turkey, silk traders to the French aristocracy, had to flee Paris in 1789 and ended up impoverished in Denmark. A Danish grave son fell in love with their daughter and married her without his father's consent. He was financially cut off from the family and died in poverty and ruin. The child they conceived, Marcus, was nurtured by the immigrant grandparents. Marcus's son, Henry, or Hendrik, was my great-grandfather. He immigrated to America in the mid-1860s after Bismarck's army invaded Denmark. Henry developed a prosperous bakery in Hudson, New York, and was able to send my grandfather Arthur to Columbia University, where he studied to become a mining engineer. Arthur followed the gold rush frenzies of the early 20th century, first to Ecuador, then to Alaska, and then to South Africa, where he met my grandmother Beatrice. They married and went to live in West Africa, where Arthur worked for a gold mining company. They came back to South Africa after a few years, and Arthur started a citrus estate. This was where my mother grew up and where I spent my winter vacations as a child. My mother became a physician and married my father, who was also a physician. My mother initiated research into carcinoma of the esophagus in South Africa and became one of the leading researchers in the world. She attended conferences all over the world, and researchers from all over the world would come and stay with us to see what they could learn from my mother. I realized from her lifestyle and the stories she told that people are fluid in relationship to location and place. It is with this understanding of fluidity that my accompanying artwork is informed.